I am good and go, John.
You're watching or listening to Forget Being Cool. We discuss the things you love.
It's the Forget Being Cool podcast for Memorial Day 2020. My name, of course, as you know, if you're listening to this podcast and you have heard it before, you know that my name is Dave Moore. Joining me, of course, is my main man, my man on the internet, Johnny_Casino.
So Dave, I wasn't planning on starting this way, but I have to tell you, when you were talking
wait,
about,
hold on, John. Do you need to tell me something?
I need to tell you this, Dave. I need to tell you something, Dave. So you're like for this Memorial Day 2020, and it sounded like some news broadcaster from like one of those like nationwide one who has nothing but like disappointing, sad news to tell you. It's like and on this sad Memorial Day 2020, like that's how you sounded.
Yeah, well,
but like it was professional-ish, so that's good.
You know, if people tuned in for this for professionalism, they have tuned into the wrong show.
That's probably true. Okay, so Dave, I'm drinking coffee right now, which I don't normally do at 7:30 at night, 10:30 at night your time, 7:30 at night my time. But I got home from the store. I had to go to the store. Wasn't expecting to, but I ended up having to go to the grocery store, and I was just like, I need to take an edge off. So I poured myself.
Don't you hate going to the store now?
Okay, going to the store itself was not terrible. It's just it did not fit in the plans that I had made for the day. Like I planned out my day, and that part of the day was supposed to be taken up by something else, and then it got taken up by the store. And so when I got back, I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna cook some burgers because that's what my plan is now. And I'm gonna pour myself a very stiff drink. So I poured myself some rum on the rocks, and I was sitting there a few minutes ago. I was sitting next to Amy. We were both playing Animal Crossing for a minute, and all of a sudden I realized I'm almost asleep. Like my eyes were basically closed, and I was like seconds from being just completely passed out.
Can I say that Animal Crossing? This is one I bought just over one pocket of turnips. The only other thing I want to say about Animal Crossing here is that game does put me to sleep. In a good way though. Like it's not a bad thing. But I can't play like if I'm like I go upstairs, I edited the show, it's 1 a.m. I'm gonna lay down, I'm gonna go to like one island and I'll fall asleep. Like halfway through that mystery island, I'll be like, I gotta put my Switch down because I'm gonna fall asleep.
So I get that. I've never had that problem. Like, at the time that this was happening, I had turned the game off, or at least had it sitting on me, and I was doing something else for a second, and then I realized that I could still hear the music from the game, but my eyes were closed and I was almost away from consciousness. So just on the turnip note real quick. So Amy had skipped ahead a couple days and had not gotten back to where she's on this. She was just trying to just get past that initial bump of like having to wait a day for a villager to come and whatever else. And so it's like, I don't know, Wednesday or Thursday or whatever on hers. So her turnips this morning were like $185. And so I bought like a pocket full and then like flew over there and sold them and then came back and then bought a pocket full to like keep for the week to find a high price for.
Cheating.
So I didn't make much off that.
Cheating.
I mean, cheating. I mean, okay, yeah. I mean, it is. I can't say it's not, right? But it wasn't like, oh, we're doing it for this reason. No, it's just she skipped ahead to get past some of the monotonous stuff that she'd already had to deal with, and then now we're just not lined up anymore, so it worked out. Anyway,
I want to acknowledge that you and I both know it's cheating.
Yeah, no.
I bought 46 stacks, and I bought them. Rachel was playing for me this morning while I got ready for work. And she bought them, and my Joy-Con's starting to drift, everybody. My left Joy-Con's starting to drift. And she accidentally ate 10 turnips.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. I mean, I was a little bit like... But at the same time...
that cost me a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it was worth it when I go to the bathroom and it goes, poop, boop, 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 boop. And like he has to take 10 poops. And then it's like, that takes care of that. I was like, that's it. I felt better once you hear each individual turnip poop drop into the toilet. That made me feel better. Okay.
Oh man, that's fantastic. Dave, I realized something recently. So here's the thing, right? So we both have a couple of stories to tell each other.
Yeah,
And
this
what's
wasn't
so amazing.
that wasn't one of them.
No, that wasn't one of them. What is so amazing about this is Amy is now having to find out what it's like to like hold on to a story.
Yes.
Whereas like something you and I have been doing for a long time. So this thing happened recently. I'll tell you a little bit later in the show. But like we're sitting there and you were on a FaceTime call with me and Amy's sitting next to you and she almost told you the story multiple times and had to like stop herself. She's like, why are you not telling him? I'm like, because I have to save it for the show.
Yeah. No, this is what the debate is. She was like, you should just call John right now. I'm like, no. We need to talk about this on the show. And she's like, but John will agree with me. I'm like, no, we don't know that. I think you will agree with her.
Okay.
But
I can't. I can't wait.
But I was like, I'll call Jeff because Jeff will agree with me. She's like, you can't call Jeff because he'll agree with you. That's biased. Anyway.
So I went to GameStop yesterday because I bought a bunch of things online and 2 of the games didn't work. Like I have all this stuff to clean them properly, not put the alcohol on it or whatever. And there's one game, this Ren and Stimpy game for the Genesis, I thought was just not going to work at all. I cleaned it up, works beautifully. But a couple games did not work.
That's usually the case. Just
well,
clean
it. But a couple of them would not work. Like there was a GameCube game that didn't even look that bad. It didn't look like it really had scratches. It just would not read. Yeah. And there was a Super Nintendo game that also just would not read. And then there was another game that I realized I already owned a copy of and didn't realize it. So like I'm already taking the 2 back. Takes back to.
That's why I cataloged my entire library so that
I opened the app.
I never buy a duplicate game.
Well, here's the deal. I opened the app today, and that's as far as I've gotten. All right,
good job, John. I'm proud of you.
So
you don't even have to make a login. You don't have to connect to anything. You opened the app and didn't do anything.
Yeah, look, I was busy today. Today was a busy day.
Okay.
So I go down to GameStop yesterday because I had to make some other errands. I get down there and I talked to the guy ahead of time to make sure I could do this return. And so I get down there and it has like the phone number on the outside. So you call the number, you talk to him, he gets everything set up. He comes out and meets you at the door. We got both got masks on and stuff, and he makes the return. As someone who plays a lot of games and listens to a lot of podcasts, like I know that this is what GameStop is doing, right? Like I know that they are doing these like curbside trade-ins and whatever else. I get the emails from GameStop because I don't have a pro membership anymore, but I don't know, my email's still attached. All these things. So I know these things, and I just kind of assume that everyone who buys something at GameStop just realizes this is how it works right now.
I figured that the entire world understands how this crap works. It's like when you go to pick up Chipotle and you get, you ordered online, you ordered in advance. Your bag is going to be put on the pickup shelf. It's going to have your name on it. You're going to grab the bag. You're going to leave, right? Not that complicated. Why are there people who still walk in and walk to the counter like they can still order their burritos?
I don't know.
It's like it's just not how it works, people. Okay.
Well, I agree. And I was sitting there, and this guy walks up and like tries to use the door. So I'm out of my car and I'm standing near the door.
Right.
Because he's got my stuff. He's going inside to make the gift card. Which, by the way, I used the gift card. I finally gave in, and they're doing buy 2 get 1 free, new and used games.
I saw
not
this.
Including retro. And I bought. Here's what I bought real quick, Dave. So I bought Paper Mario Color Splash because I don't know if I'll hate that game or not, but I got it as part of a deal and I want it on my shelf.
Okay.
And the new Paper Mario is coming out.
If it had included retro, I probably would have bought a lot of stuff.
Oh, definitely. If it included retro, I would have dropped a good bit of money on this thing.
Yeah.
I also bought Everybody's Golf because the Mega Dads are doing a golf tournament for charity with Everybody's Golf on the weekend of Father's Day or something like that. I picked up that. So
you need to pick up Golf with Friends on Game Pass.
I have that. I have it downloaded. I haven't played it yet.
It is so fun. I played with Andy and Curtis the other night after Andy and I played Splatoon. And I was like, all right, Splatoon's really fun, but I'm getting sick of it because it's just the same thing over and over and over. I'm like, you want to switch to Crash Team Racing? And he's like, sure. I'm like, you have it. What do you have it on? He's like, Xbox. I go, oh, okay. So I have my friend. So we played that for a couple hours. So we played Crash Team Racing, and then we like, oh, we can install Golf with Friends. It'll only take a minute. It's only 3 gigs. So we all install it, and then we played that till like almost 2 a.m.
Okay.
It was
I
so
did not,
fun.
Okay. When this was all going on, I ended up having to work. Like, I get this call from my boss, and he's like, this problem is happening. This person doesn't know what's going on. Can you get on the computer and help him? And so I had to like digitally start equipment with this guy. So I missed all of that, sadly.
I'm very bummed out. Although, you just tell me a time to play Golf with Friends, and I'll be there because that game is super fun.
Okay, we'll make that happen. I haven't checked it out yet. We will definitely make that happen. Anyway, so bought Everyone's Golf because it's going to be part of this golf tournament, and it looks like fun. And then I also bought Blood and Truth, which is like a PSVR game.
You just bought just trash, John. You bought garbage. You bought the dumpster fire of garbage. They got you with the sale, and you just bought it.
Here's the thing, Dave. All of this was because I wanted Paper Mario, but I wanted to get a deal for it, so I had to get like other things. Anyway, whatever. Who cares? I got my Paper Mario. I got Everybody's Golf that I can play in this tournament for charity. And Blood and Truth is supposed to be a great PSVR game, and I need to play more VR. Anyway, so this guy walks up to the door though, and he tries to open it, and I'm just like, it's got a big sign on the door.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
It blew my mind. It blew my mind. Not just that this guy was stupid and didn't see the sign on the door, but it's just like, oh, wait a minute. Not everybody follows this stuff the same way we do. That would just know this stuff ahead of time.
There's the reminder. So, John, I got it in my head to buy something.
Okay.
I've been scouring eBay. Don't know why. I keep trying to find games that I want, but there's a big dent in like my retro game experiences. And it's something I've tried to fill the gap with multiple times with the flashback systems. You know, these Atari flashback systems? So,
have you ever bought one of the flashback systems?
I have. I bought 2 of them.
Aren't they all bad?
They're all horrendous. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not even bad because the games are bad. They're bad because they like the remotes are wireless, but they work with like a TV remote kind of frequency. So you gotta point them directly at the thing. Yet like that's not realistic ever, and it doesn't work. Like that's the level of crappiness. So I didn't buy a flashback system, John. But I decided I wanted an actual 2600.
Oh, did you buy an Atari?
So here's the thing. So I started just going through eBay, right? Just looking at them, just looking.
Sure, as one does.
As one does, and I was like, man, these are really cheap, right? Like,
did they work?
Like, yeah, for like
define really cheap.
For like $60, you can get an Atari with like every controller and paddle and whatever you'd need to play it. Okay.
I mean, that's not.
It's not. It's
that
okay.
Is
So
not impulse cheap.
It's a little bit. It's a little bit on that end, but I was like, I'm dying to play these games in the original way they were intended to be played, and
you realize like you have the machine to do this on. I
know, John. I know. Okay. The point of this is, I like experiencing things the way they were originally intended to be experienced. I love that. It is something that I enjoy, and cataloging my entire library has reminded me of that. Okay, so
and okay, hold on a second. So just to be clear, I understand that.
Yes.
Right. Like that is why I have all these retro games on these shelves over here in front of me, grouped together by like game series and all that stuff.
Yes.
Because I know what you're talking about.
If you can see behind me, I've been working on these shelves. Every time I come down here, I'm rearranging and cleaning it and like dusting everything off, and I'm working on it. Okay. Anyway.
Okay.
So I got this in my head. Now, if you dig a little deeper, you find out that you can get an Atari with like every game you possibly would want, like every Atari classic bundled in with it, for like $80. Okay, that's a lot of money, but it's
and this is the actual cartridges.
Yeah, this is the original, 6-switch Atari from 1970 whatever, right? With every game you could possibly imagine wanting it. Okay.
Okay, and all the different types of controllers.
And all the controllers, all the adapters.
How many controllers are we talking? The
We're
controllers
talking-
I remember. 'Cause my dad had an Atari,
We're
right?
talking like four.
they're-
We're talking four. We're
Okay,
talking
so-
2 paddles, 2 joysticks.
Oh, okay. So there's only 2 different types, and that's the ones I remember.
Those are the 2 you remember, and it comes with 2 of each of those, right? So everything
Okay.
could be played, and you'd have all of it. So I'm looking.
Okay.
This thing is like going to sell at 1 a.m. the next day, John. So that's
Okay, and this is a
an auction,
like an
like-
auction. Okay.
yeah. So I'm like, this is sitting at like $70. Like
Okay.
it went from 60 to 70, and I'm like, I'm just gonna watch this, and I'm gonna get it at the last minute, and I'm gonna get it.
How'd that go for you?
I'm gonna get it for 75, right?
Okay.
So
How'd that go for you?
this thing's gonna stay up till 1 in the morning. Let's just put it at 1 in the morning directly, okay?
No. Yeah, was it free shipping?
It was free shipping. So,
Okay.
So for roughly $90-ish, I'm gonna have an original Atari with like 45 games, right?
Okay, and that's not a terrible
And maybe
deal.
it's like 30,
depending on what the games are.
35 games, and there's another bundle with all the Activision games, like all the Atari, like Pitfall, like the rest of the classic games that are not in here, and that's about to sell at the exact same time, John, for $3, and that's like 15 more games.
Okay, so you're up to like $83, $93, something like that. Okay,
but
go
I'm gonna have everything that I'd ever want for it, and I get to experience the entire thing, and I paid
everything you'd ever want, and none of it you'd ever play.
right, John.
Okay, gotcha.
Point of the story. Okay. So I'm gonna stay up till this thing, sells. Right. I'm gonna put in that last bid at the last second so that I get it. Right.
Okay.
Now I stayed up till 12:45. Okay. Put that bid in. Was the highest bidder. Had less than 15 minutes left on it, and I put
that's not enough. That's way too much time.
Yeah. Well, I learned my lesson, John. I put in a bid on the 13 games. The 13 or 15 games.
Okay, hold on a second.
Activision.
Tell me you own the games now, but you don't own the system.
Correct, Sean. I got 13 or 15 Activision classics, including Pitfall, Atari games that cost me $3 with like $4 shipping. Okay,
So $7.
$7
which is not a bad deal.
for 15 or 13 games. Yeah, and they look like they're mostly in pretty good position or condition. I scanned those into my library already just to like see what they're worth.
Dave, you know what would make that a better deal?
Worth, John, $84 because some of them come with manuals. Okay,
Okay,
I did
You know what would make
not.
it a better deal?
I did not get the console.
Yeah, it'd be a better deal if you had the console. Yeah, Dave, here's what you got to realize is if you want something, like you need to be there at the very last minute or put in some absurdly high bid. If you put in a high enough bid.
But I put in like a bid to like 100. Like I was willing to pay 100. I got outbid by $2.
Well, here's the thing is that person who outbid you might have actually bid 150. Who knows? It's only going to be one step above whatever the next highest person's bid is.
Yes,
right.
I understand. That's why I put in that bid.
Now here,
and was going to
here's
pay
the thing,
85 or whatever it was before I went to bed 15 minutes to go.
Okay, now here's the deal. It is not bad to be like, okay, and I've had this problem where I've almost, maybe I can't remember, caused myself some problems. It is smart to be like, this is the highest I'm willing to go and just throw it out there and then walk away from it like you did. Because it's better sometimes to not get it than to keep paying more.
That's kind of what I did. I went to bed going, I would pay 100 for this. That would be my absolute max. I bought an Atari flashback console for like $85.
That was a mistake.
Right. Obviously, John, I learned my lesson. That was many, many years ago. And I understand, the curse. Part of that was an agreement with my dad because, obviously he's extremely nostalgic for it and wanted to play it too. And then was extremely disappointed by the fact that thing didn't freaking work. So, and I realized, John, I could emulate these. I realized I could buy an entire collection on the Switch. I realized there's other ways to play these games. But I would really, really, really like to flip those switches on a 2600 one time in my life.
Okay, so here's the things. I flipped the switches on a 2600 before because my dad had one when I was a kid. He and I used to play basketball, which is a very interesting game when you realize you have to shoot and pass, but you only have one button. We finally figured it out after many hours of playing the game. But I would love to have a 2600. I would love to have that just sitting with my stuff, but I have not found one for the price I'm willing to pay because I don't need it.
I don't.
Right?
I don't need it either, John.
Here,
I would like to acknowledge that I got $7 worth of these games. I've scanned them into my library, and their estimated value with the manuals, right, and the condition they're in is worth $84. If I were to sell each one individually by themselves, and take the time to do that,
yeah.
So,
But you're not going to. You're just gonna keep them.
No, I'm just gonna add them to my shelf, and
Yeah,
I can
and
never,
they'll get forgotten until-
I can never actually play them. I will keep my eye out though for a 2600. Like it'll now be like this thing that if I see one for the right price in the right retro game store, I'll just grab it.
What I would say is pop your head into like thrift stores. Every once in a while, you can find one. Did I ever tell you about the big deal? Oh man, this is before we started recording. There's a thrift store not too far from us, and I popped my head in there one day, and they had all these like GameCube, PS2 games, and whatever else, and they were all like $2 a piece. Like, no matter what it was, they were $2 a piece.
Yes, because that's just what they have just a generic. This is what a GameCube game is worth. It's worth $2, and they just stick the sticker on it.
So here's the problem. So I go in there and I pick up like 3 or 4 games that I didn't have. And I saw a bunch of other, and I'm like, you know what? Like maybe these are worth it. Maybe they're not. I don't know what these different games are worth. And my cell service inside that shop was garbage, and I had something else I needed to do. Like I had to go by and get food and meet Amy for lunch.
Right.
I was like, I sit there. I'm like, oh man, I messed up. I should have bought a bunch of these. I should have just done it. Whatever. I was like, you know what? After getting done eating, I'm gonna go back there and just buy a bunch of these.
And they're all
gone. I know there's a chunk of them. They were all gone.
Yeah, that's why when you go in, you just buy them. That's
now
why.
I know this.
So, I think I told you this off the show, but I bought that bundle probably right when we were doing the original run of the show at a garage sale. I bought a bundle of like 40 PS2 games because there were like 3 in there that I wanted that I knew were worth like $7 a piece, and I gave them $40. Right? I was just like, here's $40. I'm just gonna take this entire giant cardboard box full of PS2 games. Thank you.
Sure.
Have a nice day. Well, in that collection, there is a sealed copy of, oh God, what is it? Warlocks, which is some Rockstar game I've never heard of. But it's scanning into my library, like estimated value on eBay, sealed in the package, is like $89. So
nice.
I could just sell it, and I more than doubled my money and got a couple games I wanted. But I also could keep this extremely weird game I've never heard of nor care about, sealed in the package.
Or you could also play it one day.
I could play it one day. I could dust it off the shelf and give it the attention it deserves.
Dave, can I tell you my story now?
Yeah, so I was very bummed out that I went to bed because I was very tired and thought, I will get this. I will wake up. And I can't believe I'm getting 13 games for the Atari 2600 that I cannot play.
Okay, but the flip side is you could have stayed up, saw yourself getting beat, kept adding until you beat him and paid more than you mean to, and I've done that.
Yeah, no, see, that's
not okay.
That's why I put my max bid in and went to bed.
Yeah.
Because I would have. You're right. I don't know what he was willing to go to, I guess. I'll find a 2600. I'm going to find a cheap one. I know it.
Okay, so Dave.
Yeah, Joe.
I'm going to text you a picture in a minute so you can see what I'm talking about. But we're going to start with this story. So a couple days ago, Amy and I go out. We need to go to Costco.
Okay.
And she wanted to go. So we go by GameStop first, and it's not open yet. So we go to Costco. We're leaving Costco, and it's like 12:15, 12:30. And we're like, man, we're both hungry. Let's just grab some fast food on the way home. The kids have already eaten. We made sure they were set up before we left. And whatever. So we go to McDonald's because it's the best option near where we were. It's also right now we are
like in this global pandemic thing. It's just the easiest. It just is.
There are other fast food places I'd rather go to, but McDonald's is fine. Like I always know what I'm getting myself into when I go to McDonald's, so I'm not really ever let down.
It's consistently okay.
Yeah. So So in this line, it was a decently long line, not too terrible, but it was decently long as things are right now. So we get in this line and we're sitting there, and I look up, and this guy and this kid ride up on their bicycles, and they're 3 or 4 cars ahead of us is like where the line turns to like go start making orders.
Wow.
And so they come around from that side. So they're a decent ways away from us. And this guy looks like a crackhead, like not like a crackhead you necessarily see in a movie, but like in the redneck crackhead kind of way. So he just looks not good, not well off, not like he doesn't take care of himself, any of that stuff. And he's got like his sock on one side, like pulled up over his pants.
This is the guy with the kid.
Yeah, so he's got his kid with him.
Okay. Oh no.
You see the kid, they ride up on bikes, right? And then they stop. They go up to the curb at the side of the parking lot near the dumpster in that corner of the parking lot, and they stop there and you get off their bikes. And you see the kid, and you're like, okay, she looks normal. Like, she doesn't look malnourished. She doesn't look like she's wearing beat up or tattered clothes. She's just wearing like sweatpants and a sweatshirt. Like, maybe that's all she owns.
Normal kid.
Yeah, maybe that's all she owns. Maybe not. I don't know. So it's one of those situations when you first see it, you have to kind of correct yourself, right? You have to be like, okay, this dude looks like he's a shitty provider and a crackhead, but maybe that's just his physical appearance. He doesn't care about his clothes. Maybe he's a great dad and a great provider. Who knows? But that all changes. So they take this thing off one of the bikes. I don't know what bike it was on. I didn't see. And they sit down. You're like, that is a animal crate, like a small animal crate that you would put a small dog or like a cat in. We're like, what are they doing? Like, first of all, it's raining outside, not hard, but it's kind of like lightly raining as it does up here. And they've got this animal crate, and we're like slowly pulling up through the line, and we're like, I better see what's in that before I make this turn. Like, I need to know. And it just looks shady as hell. Like, and you see the guy, I think he's like smoking a cigarette, and his girl's like just sitting there. And the girl's probably, we'll say 10 years old, somewhere in that area. The guy walks down a little bit, starts looking around the corner, like he's like, make sure there's no cops around. And we're like, shit, like what animal is he about to release into the wild? Like, that has to be what he's doing, right? Like he brings some animal they have in the family and they don't want, and they just want to release it into the wild and they don't want to be caught by the cops.
Murder hornets.
Yeah, well, no, you don't. But no, they would fly out of this crate, right?
John, I'm kidding. Relax.
Well, make better kids. Anyway, but once again, like at this point, you start seeing this, and you're like, okay, like maybe I misjudged the guy at first, but now I don't think I misjudged him. Like this dude is not okay, right? Like something is not cool here.
So tell me, a child crawled out.
No, that'd be
like,
amazing.
Like an infant.
That'd be amazing. No, we get up closer, and they open the thing. And I'm expecting like bunnies, right? Like that's my thought, bunnies, because people get bunnies up here and they don't want them and they just release them.
Yeah, that happens. That happens all over the place.
So it was ferrets, 2 ferrets. Now, Dave, the guy, and we're thinking this guy's gonna release them, and we're like, that's fucked up. Like you can't do that. Like you can't do that, right? Like these are
that's different. That's even different than releasing like I hate to be like stray cats, bunnies. Bunnies are in, they're there, right? Like, yeah, that's just a thing that's in our areas, right? Like they're all over the place. They're hiding, chipmunks, all this kind of stuff that just exists here. Ferrets, that's like, look, ferrets kind of freak me out. They're kind of weird, but they're pets, right? Like they're not wild animals.
Yes.
Hi, John.
Hi, hold on. I'm downloading. I'm saving this picture so that I can text you this picture of this guy. And it's a live image, so you can really see this guy. Okay, so before I hit send. So anyway, this guy and his daughter, and they pull these ferrets out. So the guy pulls out this ferret, and he's looking around like all shady like, and he's got this like hoodie on with like this big pocket right in the front, like like I like to have. So he's like jamming this ferret like into his like big pocket in the front of his hoodie.
Okay, and then like this has changed. He's not just releasing it into the wild, which would be a problem.
But maybe, okay, but here's the thing is maybe he is, who knows, right? So then the girl does the same thing with another ferret, puts it in her little hoodie pocket. And then they get up And there's like this, so there's the McDonald's parking lot that we're in driving through, and then there's like like a small grass spot, and then like another bigger parking lot full of stuff that's not open right now,
Right.
with some tall grass. And then they set them down in there. We're like, they are releasing them. But wait,
There's more.
Dave,
There's more.
they're just watching them. The ferrets just walking around the tall grass. It's like okay. This is what I'm imagining, because to my knowledge, they did not just release them and have them get out of there, right? What they did is it's like they had them in this crate and realized, oh, the ferrets need a potty break, and got them out and set them there, except for I don't think that's how ferrets work.
I have no idea how ferrets work. I don't have a ferret or know anybody with a ferret.
No, neither do I. But like, so I just sent you a picture of this shady ass guy, by the way. So it's a live photo, so you can just kind of like watch the guy set up and like set this ferret down, and there's like sock that's covering his pants. Dave, I don't know what the hell was going on. Like, this dude was shady looking, and he's just walking over there setting down ferrets and then just like watching them. And
this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous.
It is. And like I said, the girl looked normal. Like, the kid didn't look malnourished.
Yeah.
Didn't look like she had powdered clothes. Looked everything like she came from this normal life. And yet there she is on a bicycle with a cage full of ferrets, letting them out. Where are they going with these guys? Like, what are they doing?
Tell me you like waited.
No, this is the problem. Is we're in the line for the drive-thru, so we go around, and then it gets to the point where there's someone behind us, and I see the guy walk up to another car. So I assume that someone in a car behind us rolled down the window, is like, "Hey fella, what you doing? This looks shady." And he had some kind of answer for that.
Yeah, my ferrets needed to go to the bathroom in the tall grass next to the McDonald's. Totally normal stuff, my friend.
Okay, but
totally normal stuff.
Okay, let's say that's the case. The situation is that this guy has these ferrets, and they're in this thing, and they're on their bikes, and they have to go to the bathroom. Why are these ferrets in a cage with them on their bikes? Like, what situation leads to that? Are they going cross country and they just want to make sure they take their ferrets? Are they just like, we'll go out for a little bike ride? Why don't we take the ferrets? What situation are you in that you end up like this?
Yeah, no, see, there's no like clear-cut explanation. Like, that's the problem with this, Sean, is despite the fact that we're trying to figure something out, I think we need to send this to our expert friends for them to figure this out, John, because...
Our expert friends, as in some guy in
and
the
bug head, yeah.
to figure things out?
Yeah, please figure this one out for us. I mean, I think I understand what's happening. What I don't understand is how we got there and where we're going forward.
Dave.
Yes, John.
Do you think, and I will reach out to Bugman in just a minute, do you think we could get them to submit a segment?
Oh, please.
For our next episode where they answer this question?
Oh, please, guys. Come on. You're working from home, right? They could do this. I mean, you guys don't have to. You really don't have to, but I would very much appreciate it. Anyway, John.
Okay, so I'm texting Bugman right now. I'm assuming he's still awake, even though it's a couple hour time difference. If not, I'll try to make sure I catch him tomorrow morning. Okay, Dave. Anyways, I don't know what's going on. Yeah,
that's concerning, John. Although I wish you were the guy who rolled your window down and asked what the hell was going on, because I feel like you could handle that.
I wanted to, but at the same time, like, here's the thing, and I've learned this about my area, right? So I'm near Seattle, so you think, oh, people there are like Seattle, but the further you get out from Seattle, I was explaining this to my sister recently, the further you get from Seattle, the more like conservative and weird you get, and not the weird that Seattle is, like a different type of weird. And so you get like this really strange mix of people in the area where I live, right? And like, I don't know what they're capable of. And I will tell you this, it is easier to carry a gun in Washington State than it is in Texas, if that says anything.
Yeah.
Right? So
Also, this guy looks shady as hell. Like you don't know what else he has on him. I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry you had to experience this. Now, I hope that those ferrets got put back in their cages and brought home. Which I feel like if they were just going to release them, they would have released them in the tall grass and bailed. Right. But they didn't. So hopefully everyone's okay, including that poor little girl who lives in a family where they think taking ferrets out on a cage bike ride is okay.
Yeah, it's weird, dude. It is so weird. And I don't know what to tell you. I'm trying to correspond right now.
I mean, I thought it was weird that I was going to have 13, 15 Atari games that I can't play. But that is a whole nother thing. I now understand why Amy wanted to tell me all about it.
Yeah, like she took pictures, she messaged her friend, all these things.
Scary, John. Scary.
So I have reached out to Bugman. I told him what I'm hoping for. I'm waiting for a response. He is awake. I do know that because he did respond to my saying, "Hey, man." Dave.
Yes, John.
Are you ready for a listener submitted more pop, less flop?
You got it, John. Play that music.
As I play this music, I want to, one, thank Skinny Matt once again for giving me this suggestion and giving me time to research this thing. And also, if you out there are listening and you have a beloved childhood toy, let me know what it is. I will find a commercial for it, and we will do some more pop, less flop, and then you can tell us we're right or wrong about our decision on this. So, Dave, on that note.
It's more pop, less flop for May 25th, 2020. Of course, as you know, I'm Dave Moore, and this is the show where John and I decide whether your favorite childhood memories are a total success or a pop, or if there's something that should be long forgotten, something that is totally a flop. Hi, John.
Hi, Dave. I've done my due diligence on this one, and I've done a little research, so I can talk about not only this, I can talk about where it came from, and if you can still get this today. Okay. Are you ready for this, Dave?
I am ready.
All right. I'm going to do a quick screen share here so that you can also see this.
And our wonderful friends on YouTube who are watching the Forget Being Cool podcast on the Forget Being Cool YouTube channel can also see this.
Here you go, Dave. I haven't watched this yet, so I'm hoping it's great.
Invasion of the muscle things. They've come to drive America nuts. They're ugly. They're weird. They're tiny. They're terrible. And they're pink. There are hundreds of them. It's an epidemic. That's going crazy. Muscle things. Hundreds of different, I don't know what. They run in packs of 4, 10, or 28. Sold separately, new from Mattel. How many can you capture?
All right, Dave. I know for the people who were just listening that was probably a little bit difficult to hear, like a little bit difficult to understand. But
yes.
Let me explain what this is. This is the muscle toys from the 80s. And I'm going to give you a little history of them. So these came out not in the U.S. They came out this is from Mental Floss, which Mental Floss is where I get like the good quizzes that I ask you.
Okay.
So this was an anime, right, or a manga. So this came from like a manga, and they had these muscle figures. It's M.U.S.C.L.E with periods in between each one. I don't know what else stood for it, but it came from Japan. And it had all these different characters, these different superheroes that were all something man, right? So Muscle Man, Spider, instead of Batman and Spider-Man, you had Oil Man, whose body was made entirely out of oil cans. First of all, Oil Man just sounds wrong. So these things, like they made these toys, whatever, they came over to the U.S., And Mattel bought them. The anime never came over. The manga never came over. Just the toys came over. And if you notice from like the thing, they were all just like skin tone. Like there was no color to their clothing at all.
No, they're
right.
The commercial is hideous. Like makes
the 80s.
I understand the quality of the recording is awful too, but the way they look is incredibly stupid. So what I'm baffled by, John, is that this is a thing that anybody even remembers, let alone that, you know, the commercials are cared enough for to be uploaded to YouTube.
So here's the deal. So I vaguely remember these, right?
Yeah,
vaguely.
But you were alive.
Yeah, that's true. I was alive. But wait, there's more, Dave. So first of all, it came over in 1985, 86, right, to the U.S.
Same year as the NES, mind you.
Yeah.
Let's clarify.
Well,
the video game industry was about to be saved by Nintendo, and yet...
Yeah, but you still had to have toys, right? So unlike now where you have Game Pass and you have billions of games at your fingertip and all digital, no, back then you had 1 or 2 NES games, and then you also played with toys.
Yes, John, but there were good toys to be played with.
So here's the deal. And I'll read you what Skinny Matt wrote to me whenever he sent this. But so they were rebranded as M.U.S.C.L.E, spelled and punctuated the exact same way, but stood for, when it came to the U.S., this is what M.U.S.C.L.E stood for: millions of unusual small creatures lurking everywhere. That's what M.U.S.C.L.E stood for, Dave.
Did you know you could buy them in like 36 packs?
Yeah.
Is that what it said?
Hold on. Yeah. Oh, hold on a second. I will get to that. Trust me. So you could buy these 4 packs that were about $1. You could buy like 10 packs that were like $3. They had 28 packs for around $7. There was good guys. There were bad guys. There was different creatures that were actually like worth stuff. You could buy
hold on,
wrestling mat for them.
Hold on. Were the good guys and the bad guys at least different colors?
No, they were all tan.
Okay.
So what Skinny Matt wrote is he used to love playing with muscles. He would make his own ring and would have them wrestle each other. The winner would advance and the loser would be eliminated. This would go on until the last remaining figure would be the winner. He had 4 coffee cans full of these things. And as a side note, he sold a sandwich bag full of these things for $30 on eBay.
Oh.
Now. If you look at eBay right now, you can buy 20 random figures for about $30. There's a couple figures I think that are actually worth more. This one's shaped like an elephant. That one looks like a baby, and I don't know what the hell that thing is.
I think based on the commercial, they all look like toes.
They do kind of all look like toes. But there's one that's like the Satan Cross guy, who's like the ultimate villain. He's going for $41 right now, and there's still four bids, $41, and there's still 4 days left in this auction.
What?
And he's got 4 arms. But even better than that, you can still buy these.
This is coming from the guy.
Amazon.
This is coming from the guy who. Wait, you can buy them on Amazon still?
Yeah, I mean they're the rich. Well, here's the WWE muscles, right? Which comes with Iron Sheik, Andre the Giant, Jake the Snake, Macho Man, Junkyard Dog, Mean Gene, Roddy Piper, Old.
This is
an amazing set.
That makes way more sense to me, though.
I kind of want to buy that for $17 because of the people that are in it and my memory of playing with them. But
okay,
yeah, you can buy at least a version of these things still exist to some degree. Now, whether they're new or whether they're just old, I don't know.
Do they flex at all? Like, are they bendable? Do the pieces move?
The pieces do not move.
So they're just like essentially stupid-looking amiibos.
No, they're not. They don't have any kind of functionality like amiibos would.
So they're amiibos.
So imagine this. You got the army men, right? They come in the big tub and you just kind of set up like army men. We've talked about these recently.
Yes. That makes
it's the same kind of concept. It really
Yeah,
is.
but
Like,
these look
it's
like-
a figure that is
these-
slightly bendable.
these look like chubby army men. These look like chubby blob men.
I don't see the problem.
It's like if we talked about the army men, okay? And
Okay,
we have the military, and we had like spacemen and all sorts of like cowboys and Indians, okay? This is like if you made a set of those that were wrestlers, okay, but all you did is make them like bulkier, like just big, thicker, and then you took away all the color and made them flesh colored, and then you were like, I could get boxing rings instead of like tanks and
Okay, hold on a second.
Jeeps.
So here's the question I have to ask. When we decide more flop or more pop, less flop,
Mhm.
are we judging off now or as they came out?
No, we're judging now. Let's
If we're judging now, then no, these toys are all flop. like I know my kid is not going to play with these things.
I don't think
as a kid I would have played with them.
I would have never. This is coming
Do
from
you not
somebody.
have any imagination?
No, I had tons of army men.
And you never made them wrestle?
I had tons of Legos. There were Legos, John. There were army men.
Yeah, but these guys were like really cool looking.
John, there were Legos.
So Dave,
I would like to establish that these came out in a time period, even if we're judging them from then, right? Okay? These came out in a time where the NES and Legos were a thing.
Yes.
So, and I'm pretty sure Hot Wheels and a lot of other really cool toys existed.
Yeah, Hot Wheels been around for a long time.
Right? So, John, I can tell you about the Hot Wheels. I was in the grocery store shopping this week, right?
Okay.
I was going down the aisles, and I was just doing all the aisles, right? And we're going past, the condoms and the toothpaste, but the condoms are there, and like we laughed at the condoms, and like 2 feet later is the big giant bin of Hot Wheels.
I don't understand where this humor
And
comes
and I
from.
was like, well, I see what the distraction is while like, mom and dad are looking at the condoms, and the kid's like, hey, look, Hot Wheels.
Oh,
That was-
I have never bought condoms with my kids being around me.
I
Just saying.
I don't have that experience, John, but I thought it was pretty funny that those two things were like, parallel, that like one, they wouldn't notice.
Did I ever tell you that I worked at Walgreens for a little while?
No, you did not tell me you ever worked at Walgreens. This is
Yes.
okay.
So
I've got
I
questions.
worked at Walgreens.
I've got questions for you that I can't ask you on the air. I want to confirm a couple things about working at 7-Eleven. I just want to know if they apply to other places.
Okay. So I worked at Walgreens, and I stocked shelves and all that stuff. Eventually, I moved into like the photo area and developed film and all that stuff. But
The
So
cool,
I was working-
the cool job you can't do anymore that I would really like to do. If I could have like one retail job, especially like when I retired and got older, not that I don't work retail now, but like if I could have one retail job that I want, it'd be working in the photo lab in a Walgreens in like 1996. Like that sounds pretty.
This was like 1999, 2000, somewhere
Yes.
around there. But
Yep.
anyway, I sadly didn't get to see any good pictures. There was just one picture of a man. So here's my Walgreens photo story picture. I'm sitting there developing pictures, and you have to like flip through them to make sure they all like printed properly and take out the ones that didn't, so they just get charged for the right ones.
Yep.
And I'm flipping through these pictures, and all of a sudden I see this guy like on a bunk bed, like crouched on the top of the bunk bed like Spider-Man, except for he's completely naked and just flopping around. And so this guy comes up and picks up the pictures. And I don't know if it's the same guy. I don't remember. It was hard to recognize the guy's face when there's something else like just like blatantly taking up most of the picture here. And I'm also curious who took that picture. But But his friend's like, so apparently, I don't remember who it was. I think this guy said it was his friend. And he's like, here, pick this picture. Here you go. And he goes, did you look through them? I was like, well, I had to flip through them just to make sure they all printed right. And he's like, so you saw it, didn't you? I'm just like, yes, I did. But anyway, so I was sitting there one day working at the checkout, which I tried not to do. I didn't do that very often, working the register. And this guy comes through and he buys like 3 different packs of different styles of condoms and like 4 or 5 cigars, and that's all he bought. And all I could be like goes, have a nice day, and like fight back everything I could not to laugh while saying have a nice day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like,
Welcome
like,
to working at a convenience store.
Anyway, let's go back.
I'm sorry.
Our muscle story.
I just saw that these two things being close together was funny. Point of this, John, is there are a lot of other toys in 1986. So even if I'm judging these toys then and now, they are an absolute flop. These are the stupidest things ever. And God, somebody will finally send us like a listener submitted toy that I'm like, okay, I understand the appeal of it, right? This was dumb. It was always dumb. It's amazing that it made it this far. There's a reason we never got the anime. There's a reason we never got the manga. We never got any of those things because they were dumb. They were always dumb, and they were always going to be dumb.
Okay, Dave, I'm going to have to disagree with you on this one, and here's why.
Okay.
Yes, there's plenty of other toys, but there was 400 and something of these things. And just the thought of collecting them, like you would baseball cards or Pokemon cards or whatever you're collecting at the time, trying to get all of these, trying to get every single one of these characters, and then playing with them in whatever imaginative way you did. I say because there's so many of them, because they were so cheap, I got to give it the pop. Dave.
Would you collect them now?
I mean, I think it'd be more difficult, and I don't think it'd be worth it now, but at the time, sure.
Imagine they come out now. This is the first time they come out. In the year 2020.
Because there's too many things now.
That's my argument exactly. There was plenty of things then.
Oh, but things that you could collect for that cheap.
Baseball cards.
You couldn't collect G.I. Joe for that cheap.
Baseball cards.
Even baseball cards you almost couldn't collect for that cheap. For knowing what they were before you even bought them, so you have an idea of what you're getting. For $1, that's a steal.
So they don't come
baseball
in mystery grab bags.
Well, they came in like buckets of like 20 something. You had no idea what was in there, but
yeah, but see, okay. I'm basing this off a terrible 80s commercial, right? These could look much cooler in real life.
Oh, no, don't get your hopes up there, Dave.
I'm giving it a flop then, John.
Okay, 1 pop, 1 flop, and we're out.
This has been More Pop, Less Flop for May 25th, 2020. Of course, my name is Dave Moore. That's Johnny Casino. You can follow this show at a fake address that doesn't exist yet because it's not a real podcast. We'll see you guys next time for More Pop, Less Flop.
More pop, less flop. More pop, less flop. More pop, less flop. More pop, less flop.
Welcome back to the Forget Being Cool podcast. I'm Dave Moore. That's Johnny Casino. In case you forgot, in the last 15 minutes, where we've said our names 12 times. Hey, John, those guys seemed way more prepared this time. It was a little bit more flow. They made a couple good jokes. I was impressed. I was quite impressed with the improvements they've made to More Pop, Less Flop.
You know what? They really did a good job getting things ready, making sure they were prepared. But there was a bit of negative attitude there that could have been sweetened up a little bit. Like I think one of the hosts needs to be a little more open-minded when it comes to certain products, although maybe that would take away from the humor.
Maybe that's kind of his bit. I think he's like been on a lot of other podcasts and like people have realized that he's a guy that pretty much likes nothing. Like it's kind of the joke. And if he were to admit that he liked things, which he does very rarely, people would not maybe identify with him as an individual and his brand of humor.
I could see that. Uh,
Believe it or not, guys, I do like some things, like Golf with Friends. Really great, free on Game Pass. Hi, John.
yes. Okay.
Drink some more of that
Dave.
coffee. Get focused. I have something
No.
I need to ask you, John.
Okay. You have something you need to ask me, and then I have one more important thing for this show. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so in Animal Crossing,
Okay.
it's not an Animal Crossing story. It's just how this came up. Okay.
Is this the debate that I was going to be part of?
Yes.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, so one of the villagers, Nate, runs up to Rachel and says something along the lines of, "I love medicine. It's really neat because it tastes like blue." Okay?
Okay.
And then he ran away. And
Wait, he runs up, says this, and bounces?
pretty much, yeah.
Did you send someone to check on him afterwards?
I-
Like, is he still breathing right now?
Yes, he's fine.
Okay.
And the only reason I can assume that it tastes like blue, right, is related to the fact that the medicine packet is blue. Okay.
Okay,
but
was
here's
this character like scratching at his like cheek, jawline area as he was saying this?
he was not sick.
Oh, I was more like if he was fiending for drugs.
Oh well, no. Okay, I don't think it was a medicine thing. I don't remember exactly what the context of why he likes medicine because it tastes blue. I don't think he has a
Okay.
drug problem, John. Point of this though
Okay.
is I said that blue is definitely a flavor.
Oh no, blue is not a flavor. Now,
Blue is
now,
definitely-
don't get me wrong.
blue is-
Hold on a second. That if someone said this tastes like and then named a color, I'd be like, okay, I get what you're saying.
Okay,
Because
so
there
if
are-
somebody says this tastes like blue, the medicine in this case tastes like blue. Do you understand what that means?
I understand what it means, but it's incorrect. What you should be saying is this tastes like bad raspberry flavoring or something like that, right? It tastes like blue candy that is not labeled by a flavor that is obviously supposed to be some kind of blueberry-ish, raspberry-ish something, right? Or the raspberries are red, but
So
sometimes I don't know.
So when you go to the store, when you go to the Marks, right, the grocery store Marks that you don't have, but I'm sure you have
No,
stores
I've
that
never
sell
been
this.
in one.
Maybe like a Save-A-Lot would have this, or
I would never go into a place like that if I could help it.
there'd probably be a guy letting ferrets out inside the Save-A-Lot.
If we're lucky.
But in this back corner of this shady-ish grocery store, right? Not that Marks is shady; it's just not the nicest grocery store. They would have a section of drinks, okay, and these would consist of grape drink, orange drink, and then there'd be one that's listed as
but hold on.
blue
Grape
drink,
and orange are
right?
okay.
And
okay.
blue
Here-
drink
Hold on a second.
is definitely
Okay.
not. I understand the blue raspberry comparison. I do. But
Hold
it
on,
is
hold on.
labeled blue drink. And that is basically the
I'm gonna s-
definition of the taste of blue. And I just want to confirm that I'm not crazy and I think that blue is definitely a flavor.
No. Blue is definitely not a flavor. Blue is an incorrect way that people describe the flavor of something based on things that are not labeled properly that happen to be blue and often taste the same.
Rachel is going to
Right.
be very happy to agree with you.
But here's the thing, and this could end up sounding very terrible on my part, but luckily I don't ever plan on running for public office. So you get those people
That
in certain
release
parts
that
of the,
release
of the inner
that,
city.
that release ferrets outside of the McDonald's to go to the
Yes,
bathroom.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, and when I say people in certain parts of inner cities, right? Like there's not a specific race attached or anything like that to it. Like it's all races of people in this one area that like I'm gonna go get my purple drink or my orange drink or apparently my blue drink, and it's and here's the thing, and don't get me wrong, I grew up very, very poor. And so I definitely knew when we had a drink that was just a color that was most likely some flavor, right? Now, I did not call it purple drink, although actually I might have called it. We had one called Burple. Have you heard of this
Yeah,
Burple
I
drink?
actually have heard of Burple. I don't know if I've ever had a Burple though.
Yeah, but it was cool because it was in a big container of purple powder, and you as you like moved it in and out.
Mm-hmm.
So you get this like poorer community, right? Of which I was not inner city version of, but definitely I was part of the poorer community for a very long time. And it's just like, oh well, we can't afford grape soda, but we can afford purple soda, right? We can't afford whatever, but we can afford blue drink, right? And then it just becomes known as that, and therefore they could be like, oh yeah, this company's like, all right, we're just gonna put some blue food coloring and whatever the hell we want, and it just be like, oh, it's blue drink, I guess. Like it doesn't have to really be some berry; it can just be some made up thing. Oh shit, oh man, oh whatever. Okay, it's cool. It's just blue drink, right? And that's what you end up with.
I feel like consistently though, blue drink has a flavor, and I wouldn't call it blue raspberry. And I would say that flavor translates to like generic blue candy.
Well, the problem is like there's so many different things that can be blue. Like bubble gum is often blue, or cotton candy flavor is often blue. There's a blue raspberry that's often blue. Blueberry can be blue. There's all these things, and like people just get one of these things in their mind, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is what blue tastes like, but it's not. Like it's not, but it is.
Well, Animal Crossing seems to disagree. Rachel agrees with you though.
Okay, well that's good. For a second there I thought the recording got messed up, but it didn't, Dave. We are still going, Dave.
Fantastic. Okay,
Dave, this is going to be a longer episode as we knew it would, because we had too much stuff we were excited about coming into this.
I would like Twitter to weigh in whether blue is a flavor or not.
Yes, definitely. Hit us up. Now, look, whenever you hit us up, tag in there Forget Being Cool's Twitter account, whatever that is.
It's at Forget Being Cool.
Is it Forget Being Cool? Is it the full thing? I thought it was like shortened somewhere.
No, it is not shortened.
Okay, so tag them there. But also tag me in there at Johnny _Casino, right? Because otherwise I have to hope I catch it as I'm scrolling through, and sometimes I don't always catch it if I end up going 13 hours without looking at Twitter, as I sometimes do.
If it's good, I'll tag you in it. Okay.
Dave,
yes,
I bought something. So
is
last episode, I think it was.
Is it a lot of Atari 2600 games?
No. I wish I did, honestly. It's probably a better value than what I bought, because this thing only cost me $5. So, we discussed it last episode that we need to have something that has the word giggle in it as like a segment. So Rachel sent me a message, as she sometimes does, and she's like, giggle or gag. Like the segment should be called Giggle or Gag. And I'm like, I like this, but I don't know how it's going to work. Right. Okay. So the concept of this thing would be that we would talk about something, show something, whatever, that would either we'd have to decide, is it funny or is it something that just kind of makes you nauseous?
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So I was up at Target, and every time I go up there, I look at like the collectible card aisle, hoping to find something that my son and I can collect together. And every time I see these things, I'm like, oh, these are stupid. I pass by. And these things have been around for a long time. And I mentioned what they were to Rachel, and she said she'd heard of them, but she didn't know what they were. So I bought one pack.
I think I know. I think I know what you're about to pull out.
Tell me, what's your prediction?
It's those. They're like those dumb like little erasers in the little box. You know what I'm talking about?
No. They're not that. I
don't remember what those are called.
What I have for you is one pack of Garbage Pail Kids. Now, do you know about Garbage Pail Kids?
Are they a band?
I mean, there might be a band named Garbage Pail Kids.
I feel like they're a band. They have music. But no, John, I don't really know anything about Garbage Pail Kids.
Okay, so the Garbage Pail Kids are basically like a spin-off of Cabbage Patch Kids, right? But in theory, they came out of a garbage pail. So each one is a little messed up. So it has a name, and then it has some picture that goes along with this. And so at this point, we're going to decide if these are gross, gag, or funny. Now, I have a bunch of them, so we're not going to go through them all. And now I've got to decide if I'm going to try to collect these things.
Oh my God,
it's kind of a dumb idea. Let me
just establish something for you, John. This is not the thing you should start collecting.
Oh God, no. This is a terrible idea. But for the purpose of this, I thought it was a little bit funny to do this. So I'm gonna describe a card here.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you the picture. And the cool thing is the back of some of these cards have like the names of like different ones. So you have a kind of like a checklist, kind of like some baseball cards would have. But the backs of other ones have like these like elementary reports on them. Some of them have this right here, which is like a portion of a bigger picture that they all put together. Like there's something really cool about these cards.
Okay, except like,
Right.
do they have? You telling me that some of them have report cards, like with letter grades?
Yes.
Okay, just I just wanted to, establish that.
Okay, so we're going to start here with this very first one. I have not looked through all of these. I basically looked like one or two of them.
Could have used at least check pluses, check minuses, satisfactories. Okay.
Dave.
Hi,
So the
John.
first one here, the first garbage pail kids, we got to decide, is this a giggle or a gag?
Okay.
Brokeback Pat, who is literally snapped in half because his backpack is too full of books. Here, I'm going to put it up here so Dave can see it.
Okay,
So-
I'm torn. I'm torn, John. Let me establish to you why I'm torn.
Wait, let me finish describing this for you real quick. Hold on.
Okay.
So the guy's sweating. He's snapped in half about at the belt line. You can see his spine. You can see his hip bones. You can see bone fragments flying. This is This is Brokeback Pat. Broken back Pat. So what is your concern?
So for the audio listeners, I just like to establish something. John's description, right? John's description for the card and the lead up to it, right before I saw it, is really funny. Like whoever's in charge of the writing department for this one is really funny. The art direction, on the other hand, for those of you who are not looking at it, this thing is disgusting. like
I got two of him in the same pack.
Clearly, he's
But
common.
this one's got like a weird border to it.
Oh, one's a special border card, John. That makes it rare, more valuable somehow. I just
Okay.
like to establish that that's a problem. Are the backs the same on those, John?
Yeah, they actually were.
Oh, well, that's lame.
Yeah.
So-
there are
so-
some really lame ones on here.
So, it started out really funny. The concept is really funny. The writing is really funny, but the artwork itself is so gross and stupid that I can't get on board.
So is it a giggle or a gag?
I think it's a gag.
Okay, I will give it a gag too. Now there's a few other here that I'm going to show you because I think these are some of the highlights from this pack as I just flipped through them. All right, are you ready for this?
John's gonna wake up
Here we
tomorrow. He's
have-
gonna have like 12 more packs of these. Everybody just
No, I'm not buying any more of these. So here we have Lou Stool. I want you to think about that. Lou Stool. Yep, her name is Lou Stool. She is a number 2 pencil. Get it? Number 2 for poop for Lou Stool.
I was gonna ask,
has-
is she having
Who has
diarrhea?
poop. The writing is definitely poop on this paper, and the eraser is definitely poop with a fly on it. Dave, here is Lou Stool.
Yep, definitely a gag.
All right, Dave. You ever play tetherball?
Like once in my life, like legit,
Okay.
like for real, like once in my life.
Well, right here is Heatherball. Her face has been pummeled by a tetherball. Giggle or gag, Dave? Giggle or gag?
That one might be a giggle. It's less gross. There's no poop or like blood or showing spines or like the super disgusting face.
So here is one that the joke is not as funny. But I wanted to show you this picture. This is Peyton Airplane, who just has paper airplanes flown and like stuck into him in different locations. It's not that funny.
No,
It's not that funny.
no, it's not. That's
Okay,
a
Dave.
disappointment. The writing that I was giving it points for has gone down dramatically.
Okay, we have two more that I'm going to show you real quick because it's very important.
Okay.
This first one is
yes, John. This
Drake.
is the most dire conversation we could possibly have.
Yeah, no, this is outstanding. This is Dragged Drake. It's a small child in a like decent dress clothes with a tie being dragged into school. There might be a poop trail between his legs going down. This is Dragged Drake.
This is terrible. This is absolute
Garbage Pail Kids. Of course they're terrible.
Yeah, but you say they're a spinoff of Cabbage Patch Kids, right?
Yeah.
Like, so as much as they're supposed to be, trashy, right? I didn't realize there'd be so much poop.
Not all of them. This next one, which is the last one, does not have any poop. This is Rundown Rhoda. She was a driving instructor.
It definitely could be some poop
who,
and Rundown Rova.
She got run over. She is flattened on the highway. I mean, is this a giggle or a gag?
These are gags. They're dumb. We started out on a high note, and you got two of them.
So Dave, does this still open you up to the possibility? Not every time with Garbage Pail Kids, because that would not work. That just happened to be the best thing that I happened to stumble across and thought, well, here's an excuse to buy something that I really don't want to own.
Yeah, no, definitely. We can definitely. I'll get the song produced. I'll make sure it has like lots of gross sounds in it. Like,
but like we can find things on the internet or wherever that are just like, oh, this is gross or it's funny, and the other person has to decide.
Yeah, is this gross or funny? That's essentially what giggles or gags is. This is good. This is definitely good. Thank you for the name, Rachel. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. We'll have to see how it works as a segment.
Yeah, definitely. This is good. This is good stuff, John.
Dave, that's all I have to tell you, Dave.
Is that it?
Yes.
Oh,
that's why I said that.
This has been the Forget Being Cool podcast for Memorial Day 2020. Of course, if you enjoyed this podcast, you can get it over at the Forget Being Cool website at forgetbeingcool.com. If you'd like to interact with John or Dave on Twitter, you can follow John at Johnny_Casino, and you can follow Dave at Tell You Dave. You can follow the show at Forget Being Cool. Make sure you guys check out the website. And if you guys want to help out the YouTube channel, go to the Forget Being Cool YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 50 subscribers. We've been at 47 subscribers since we brought this show back. We do appreciate the 4 of you have subscribed since we started doing this again. But we'd really like to get to 50 subscribers. Of course, that's it for the Forget Being Cool podcast. We'll see you guys next time.
When you open your arms to a Cabbage Patch Kid, your heart opens wide and lets the love come in. Everyone is special and has so much to give. Come and open your arms to a Cabbage Patch Kid.
Cabbage Patch Kids. Each one's unique, each sold separately by Coleco.
The Cabbage Patch Kids
When
not special, and they are not cool at all, and never were.
Dave, my parents still have my Cabbage Patch Kids. My mom worked at Target and had to hide some away because they were the super hot toy that year.
For you as a child, or
Yeah, when I was a kid,
they had to hide. She had to hide them. She worked at Target. She had to hide them for you.
She hid one away to give to me and one for my sister because they were the hot toy that year.
Wow. I don't get it.
I tried to find a Garbage Pail Kids commercial. Could not. They don't exist.
It's okay. I think
I think that is okay.
No one cares. Bye, YouTube.